How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This is better, right?
Yeah, it is. What
Good.
did you do?
I use a hotspot on my phone.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's crazy because I literally just bought a plan for the hotspot like last week.
No, line timing is.
I was on the Wi-Fi, it was tripping, bro. Talking to my brother right now.
I gotta switch it. Oh,
Yeah.
we're recording. Is that okay?
Oh, all right, guys. So you know that I've been talking about having more people show up and work with them on talking about some of the really important topics pertaining to being an independent musician. And I'm fulfilling my promise today. And I got something really special for you guys. I brought Sierra along here. Sierra is very well versed in having a lot of information as far as what independent musicians need to do coming up in today's day and age of the new age
Yeah.
of music.
Right.
So I'm gonna let her give a little bit about her background, and then we're just gonna dive deep into some of the topics that we've decided that we want to get into right now. So, Sierra, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Let them know who you are, and we can proceed.
All right, cool. All right, well, hey everybody, what's up? I'm Sierra, also known as the Gen Z Exec, and just a little background on me. I'm a 20-year-old creative strategist and publicist based in Los Angeles. I got my start in the industry with both of my parents conceiving me.
Yeah,
My mom was a publisher at ASCAP, and my dad was a promoter marketing executive at Universal Music Group. So thank you. Yeah. So having both of my parents understand like the behind the scenes world really kind of definitely played a major role on just like my passion for the business and how passionate I'm really about the continuous changes and trends that take such a toll kind of understanding, because I feel like we talked about beforehand, a lot of people know about the industry, but it's kind of like this secret veiling of how it really functions and how it really works. And growing up, going to school, in public school, and having basically like a regular life, like I call it a Hannah Montana syndrome moment. And
right.
then, at home being surrounded by, a bunch of executives going to different events, like I always had friends that I saw that had potential and they just didn't have access to the information that I did. So I kind of took it as my responsibility to kind of provide them with resources and information to help them and get acclimated to really understanding how to navigate through the industry, because it's a lot and it can be really overwhelming. So that's kind of what I've called on to myself as my calling. It's my passion. I love helping artists really get acclimated so they understand how to move for themselves and, make money for themselves and not be dependent on other people, or,
Right.
allow other people to control like their careers. So I just want to thank you so much for, just having me on and,
Sure,
having us chop it up and stuff like that. So
sure,
I'm happy to be
sure.
here.
That's good. So, as you guys can see, she's pretty well stacked here. She's a perfect candidate to be able to get into these topics. So,
Thank
for the
you.
first topic, I'm pretty big on the concept of selling your personality first and not your music. I think a lot of people or a lot of artists nowadays coming up, they kind of just want to push their music. They expect for you to buy their music and have no, like, they don't give any backstory. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you been to an event or been somewhere, even out on the streets, and someone just come up to you and say, like, I got this mixtape or this whatever, and then put a price on it and then expect for you to support? You know what I
Right.
mean? For
Yeah.
me personally, I don't want to say like I feel like an a-hole, but like I do when I turn it down, because it's like, you didn't convince me enough. Like, I don't feel like I was convinced enough to be able to purchase that. And I often find myself wanting to use the word product,
Mhm.
but I feel like that is the right term for it. Like, you're trying to get me to buy your product or buy your story, but you haven't prepped me to be able to do so. So, I think that it works out better when an artist actually sells, their story, or like if they actually tell you about their story in some unique way, or, break down to you like, you know, reasons for why you should actually make that purchase. Like if a guy walked up to me and was like, "Yo, I'm homeless. I have kids, and this just happened to me, and music is my only creative outlet." And
Right.
I told that story on this right here. If you really listen to it, not only would it, mean a lot to me, but it would mean a lot to my family because that money that you gave would be able to help me provide for them. Like that right there, like,
Right. Take
you know
my
what I
coin,
mean?
sir. Take my
So,
coin.
like, how much is it? You know what I mean?
Right.
$5, $10, like, I got you.
Absolutely.
But then, but you have this culture of people who kind of just I don't know, feel entitled. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know if that's the right word, but
for sure.
they just feel like you should just pay them to listen to their music. But I'm looking at it like, why? And even like some of the DMs that I get, where like people are like, "Hey, check out da 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 da," or like, "I just released this new video," and you know,
Yeah.
I want to listen to everyone's stuff, but I'm just like, why should I take time? What are you giving me to take time out of my day to be
Yeah.
able to listen to what it is that you have to offer? So, like, I just want to get your take on that. Like, like, is it like a
I
similar take or,
yeah.
yeah,
I think storytelling as someone that works in PR but also has a passion for artist development, which by the way is such a lost art. Um, it's about the story. A song is a story in 3 minutes. And I feel like a lot of artists, I think it's a combination of entitlement, like you said, but I think also too, especially with this not necessarily saturation, but just with the fact that we're in the digital age and so many people want to get into this creative space and be artists, they're not familiar with their artist story. They're not familiar with that selling point.
probably haven't even thought about
You know what I mean?
it.
Exactly. Like they don't understand like the importance of understanding your story and how that connects with that consumer. I think you're 100% right when it comes to you're selling a product. And I was literally just talking about this with one of my mentors the other day. Like, it's a business, and I feel like a lot of times it's a creative business, but it's still a business. And I feel like a lot of times artists get confused where it's just, oh, it's creativity, it's about the music, it's about, the emotion, which it is.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
that emotion is selling that product.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's
Be
like,
product word.
I'm telling
It
you.
comes back again. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, I think it's a combination of both of, incorporating your personality in the music. Like,
Mhm.
I think even like, for example, I'm a Beyonce stan, but I love using her
Yeah,
as
you said.
no, honestly, like I'm not like one of those crazy stans, but I have a real love for her strategy because every time Beyonce's in the media, if it's not a positive thing that she's doing, she never comments on it when it comes to drama or her relationships or anything
At
like
all,
that
ever.
in the public, but it's always in the music, which drives people to listen to the story. Like when she
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about the salon situation, the elevator, but then added that to the Flawless track, people were like, oh shit, where it was like they wanted to just hear the track just to get the tea. So it's like about that strategy of incorporating the story
I never
in
thought
music.
about that. I never thought about it that way.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's the strategy of how you're incorporating both your personality and the music, because again, like the song is just a story in 3 minutes. Like that's the whole key to songwriting. And I think that especially with artists that are just putting music out, it's about those steps that you take to get to that point before you release the music. Is there a brand? Incorporate, what is your brand? What is that selling point? Are you super, emotional? Or is your music based on love songs? Are you more of like, let's get lit, let's get turned? Like, what is that selling point? Because there's some artists that are extremely versatile and well versed that are multifaceted to do multiple things. And there's some artists that strictly just do love music. Like I listen to Tory Lanez for his love songs, and that's it.
Oh, you don't like everything else?
I can't. It's just like that's cute, but that's just not for me. But it's like his love songs, or they're more so romantic based. I have more of a connection to that selling point
Right.
versus him getting lit. Like I'm not a party person, but I'm definitely emotional when it comes to my relationships. So it's just like, it's about the selling point. And I think artists have to really take time to understand their values, their morals, how they incorporating their real life experiences into that story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes
Okay.
perfect sense. And that's just one of the things that I think artists need to spend, some self-reflecting time on and think about what is my story. Actually, interesting thing. I signed up for an NYU course. They have like an
Nice.
online course that's called the Music of Business Essentials course, and I'm in the second module right now. And like one of the assignments that they want me to do is create a song about my life story. Go figure, right? So it's just one of those things that I think that artists need to just spend some time, self-reflect on, and say like, what is my story? What is the thing that I'm trying to tell here? Because that's gonna run into like branding, which is gonna also affect how they do their marketing and
Connecting with
all.
their audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Your audience, like you got to make sure you have the right target audience, and like if you don't have a story to tell, then who are you telling your story to?
Exactly. Exactly, 100%. And I think it's like, again, I feel like artists get really, it depends also too about the artist's goals. There's a lot of artists that just want clout. I'm gonna just call it how I see it. There's a lot of artists that just want clout.
Yeah,
There's a lot of artists that just want followers because they see that as success. They see that as recognition. They see that as validation.
sure. Sure.
But exactly, you're not monetizing off of your intellectual property. Your music's not protected. Like your goals, if that's what you want, then that's what you're gonna get. But if you want longevity, if you want sustainability,
Yeah.
then there's so much other deep rooted work that has to be done before, branding, storytelling, audience analysis, really incorporating that connection. What is your sound? Like, it's so much deeper than the surface.
Yeah.
So I agree 100%. I think that they have to take more time to self-reflecting, which, not to get super spiritual and zen, but self-reflection, it starts within. Like, whatever you put in is what you get out of it. So it's like, if you're not tapping in to really understand who you are, your audience is not going to know who you are. They're not going to feel that trust factor. They're not going to feel like, how is this brand authentic when they don't even know themselves? Like,
that's right. Yeah, no, you nailed it. You nailed it. But switching gears here a little bit. I couldn't help but to think that, like, let's say that an artist does go through all of those steps.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they would be wasting their time to do all of that and then make sure on the back end that they're not even getting compensated correctly for these things? So like my mentality when asking that question is more so geared towards like the PROs and making sure that they're registered and stuff's copyrighted and so on and so forth. So like I know for a fact that there's a lot of artists that don't take that step. Like you said, like they're not monetizing off of stuff. And I don't know if that's from like a lack of not knowing or like just not caring or what. But like I just want to get your standpoint on how important it is to make sure that, you're fully ready to go and monetize off of everything that you're doing.
I literally recommend, before you even release anything, your stuff needs to be protected. Period. Like literally point blank period. Like, there's no questions asked, because I even had an artist come to me talking about because I asked them, I was like, is your music protected? Like, they want me to listen to the material. It was good. So I was like, is it protected? Like, all this stuff. And they were like, well, no, I'm waiting for me to like blow up for me to protect it. And I'm like, run that back, Holiday, run it back. That's not it. And it's like, I genuinely, especially if I see potential, I see real potential growth. Like, I'm not gonna have you out here looking crazy. Like, people before they even get in this industry, what I've been taught since I was young, before when I first told my parents I wanted to really get involved in the industry the way they did, they said, protect everything with your life. Like, people really steal stuff out here. If your stuff is fire, people will steal your stuff and monetize off of your hard work, but because they got that copyright before you, that is theirs legally. Protect your stuff, protect your material. Like, just like if it's a baby, that's your baby. You want to make sure your baby, there's no harm to it, nothing's gonna happen to it. Like, look, you gotta really be protective over your material. Like, people are really crazy, and people will really take your shit.
I agree with that. Like, as like a little prank, like for a lot of the guys that that like I know that do make some really good music that I know for a fact they don't protect their stuff. I was like, what if I like just literally signed up for some service that allowed me to copyright all your stuff
Mm.
and protect all your stuff and claim it as mine and then sell it back to you in a contract? Like, would you hate me for that? Like, you know what I mean? But it's more like not that anything, not that I would do that, but it's
Yeah.
just more so like a lesson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just me saying that should be more than enough of a lesson for you to understand that like it doesn't take much. Like I know services that literally charge cents on a dollar to be able to copyright your stuff and make it mine. You know what I mean? So that it makes it hard for you to be able to release it to the public without owing me a cent. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So yeah, like I definitely suggest that these guys get on the ball because you don't want to end up in that position. You know
And
what
there's and I agree, and like there's so many platforms like such as Music Space, you know, they
I mean? MusicSpace.io.
yes, like I literally have a
So,
code artists can use to get a free
so
copyright for free, literally, like for a month. And it's
yeah,
like I think that, you know, it's one of those things where it's like people are creating platforms like Music Space, like Spin Up, where you can literally protect your stuff because a lot of the labels, especially before the public got really familiar with a lot of the shiesty movements that some executives do partake in,
yeah,
they was, oh, your stuff's not protected, bet we go and protect that, like you said, and we're gonna sell it back to you through a
over hostage.
contract. And you know, it's like, but now since people are getting more familiar, that independent mindset of do it yourself, let's look out, everyone with this reset, just even before the pandemic, but I feel especially now people are really paying attention to what's the right thing to do instead of what has been happening just because it happened in the past, and that's what the industry is known for.
Right.
Like the industry, it's not saying that everybody is bad because they're not, but there's some people, you know, there's some
People.
sharks, there's some wolves,
Yeah.
you know, there's some
and,
people
and
that
and you
are
know what? On the podcast that I featured on earlier today, I was saying
mhm,
how like the music business at the end of the day is a business. So like
right,
ignorance is not an excuse to not get the business laid on you by the
right,
business. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
so like you can't blame anybody but yourself if you
yeah.
end up in those types of positions because the information's there. We're giving information right now. Like
All
yeah,
right,
free, free.
right. No, really, because it's like you can, I feel like a lot of people too, they get scared when they see these big legal terms like copyright
Mm,
and licensing, and you
yeah,
know, they get nervous because these are these terms they're not
yeah.
familiar with, but it's like
Fear
you go,
makes you lock up, though. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if you don't understand something, it either makes you lock up or it makes you procrastinate,
mm,
and that's not healthy. Like neither one of those are healthy. Like
at all.
when it comes to this, like if somebody's telling you that this is something that's important, then you need to pay attention to it. Like even down the split sheets. Like I've spent so much time with people in the studio and literally watch them cook up something. Like even down to the producers. Like I got a friend who's like a really, really, really good producer, and like he's protected in like other instances, but sometimes like he'll let like just like a beat go just cause. You know what I mean? And like I don't necessarily know if that's always protected. So
Yeah,
like, you go from that part to like people laying vocals on it, and then, somebody else might walk in the studio, hear the verse that the first artist did, and be like, yo, is there any space on that? And then, jump on it. And then now you have three people, who are featured on this intellectual property that have yet to discuss, payment if that track, for whatever reason ends up in the Billboard Top 100. You know what I'm saying?
it
So
only
like,
takes one song
it only
to get
takes
on
one
hold.
song.
It only takes one
You have
song,
no control over the internet once you play stuff on the internet. Like,
like,
you have absolutely no control. Like some things just tend to take on a mind of their own.
and
And then
mhm.
no, go ahead, please.
It's also interesting because I feel like a lot of artists are like, it's so hard to, you know, get signed and discovered, but it's like just between me and y'all, these labels are looking for new artists. You know, there's
all the time.
not artists
They turn it
developed
and
like
burning.
it was. You know what exactly?
They
Like they're
turn it
trying
and
to
burning.
find new people to sign. So
Yeah.
don't think that it's like this, oh, they got this little bubble because there's certain stars that are in the forefront. There's a lot of artists that are signed on these labels. If you go on their roster, artists that you probably even heard of yet, because they're just waiting for that one single from the artist to be like, well, they're signed to our label. Like labels beef with each other. Like, let's not forget, like it's still a business, it's still a competition within the labels. And so that's where it's like, if you want to be signed to a label, that's great. If you want to be independent, that's great too. But regardless of whatever, you know, path that you want to take, protect your music, protect
Facts.
your stuff. Like
Like
there's no
regardless,
excuse.
any of
Like
that
there's no
hurt.
excuse at this point. Like
Yeah.
beforehand, like I would say maybe like the 90s and the 80s, the lack of information, you know, that was understandable. You know, you maybe didn't have access. We got the internet, you have YouTube, you have Twitter, you have Reddit, you have all music space, you got Spin Up, you have all of these resources that are there to help you. So if you don't take it, there's no excuse why you're not taking that to protect yourself.
On you, but you know they quick to be like record labels.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. I mean, is it really the record labels though?
Right. Because if you're protected, the record labels can't do anything to you legally.
Yeah, exactly. So you know that's definitely a thing that the artists need to be mindful of. Like you definitely need to copyright your stuff. Music, we done dropped the name Music Space IO a couple
Yes,
times.
Music Space IO. Use this code GenzExec. You get a free month off of all music management catalogs and
Shout out
of
to More
copyright.
Now, period. More Now is a great resource. But yeah, monetizing is like is a thing that is definitely slept on.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Song Trust?
No, what is that?
Song Trust is a service that people can sign up for, and it's like a one-stop shop. So like if you have to sign up for BMI, if you have to sign up for ASCAP, CSAC is invite only if I'm not mistaken. But like as far as like BMI and ASCAP go, like there's a whole sign up and registration process for both of those services.
Nice.
Song Trust is like a one-stop shop. You sign up. As soon as you sign up, it's like, hey, do you have a BMI number? No? Okay, let's help you out. Oh, hey, by the way, are you signed up for ASCAP? No? All
Nice.
right, cool. We'll help you get signed up for that. And then you can do your entire music catalog management from that centralized location, as opposed to having to like balance between two different accounts, two different sets of credentials, because we all know we hate passwords. You know what I mean?
I understand. Sure.
we hate password management. So like you just have one set of credentials that kind of just get you to that access of making sure that your music is monetized the way that's supposed to be. So like yeah, when you get a chance, like check it out. And I am in no way, shape, or form affiliated with them. I just think that they have an awesome service.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out, and you know when you get a chance. And for all the people that are listening to this too, Song Trust is definitely one of those things that are worthy of your attention, because not only is it a great service, but it's completely affordable. Like it is so affordable. Like I could probably think of like 3 things off the top of my head I waste money on that if I was an artist I should certainly use on Song Trust.
For sure.
So yeah, so that's you know the cap on monetization. But switching gears here, I know that like a lot of artists tend to shy away from feeling like they need to go to events and rub shoulders with people, or if they go to an event, you know, they don't feel the importance or understand the importance of just spending that extra time after the event, or maybe showing up a little earlier to the event to kind of scope the scene out and you know network. And even you know you never know who you might chat with, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to make sure that you know you talk to as many people as possible. And if your story is correct, like how we mentioned in the past, you know, you can sell that story to everybody. And then, you know, when your set is up, you know, people are going to pay attention, because I know a lot of artists personally that complain about like showcase events where a lot of artists show up, they perform, and maybe there's like some type of prize or something at the end. And, you know, the prize and all is great, but just to be in that atmosphere where there's a lot of other artists like you who want to achieve the same goal as you. And like me, I'm super big on collaboration. Like you should definitely collaborate as much as possible. But if you just go there, think you're some hot shot, perform and dip, like I don't think that's gonna serve you. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities. Like everybody there could definitely be valuable to your experience. Like even down to like bartenders and bouncers. Like you know what I mean? Like literally, like if you spend the time and you just chat with like the bouncer, like that might open up a segue to be able to use that event more frequently. You know
Right.
what I mean? I mean, use that
Right.
venue more frequently. You know what I mean? And like as far as like the bartender goes, like some people like to drink when they show up to events. So like if you're cool with the bartenders, you might be able to negotiate something. You might be able to pay the entire tab for the night for whoever. For all people attending, and then offer that as something special for when you're marketing whatever your event is, because now you have the venue secured because you chatted with the bouncer and he helped you out. You know what I mean? So like people aren't taking the chance to like really do this networking thing. So like, what's your standpoint on like that? Like, obviously, like it's an important thing.
Of course.
So like, how do you feel about networking? Like, is that like should that be something that like think about as soon as you walk in the room?
I think for networking, I think it's a dual 50-50 type of situation because networking is vital. The music business is a people business. At the end of the day, you don't know who knows who. Like just because someone, like I can wear sweatpants and a hoodie and look kind of busted, because of the quarantine. But no one would ever know, what I do for my day job or, what I do, whatever. Like, so you can't really base networking off of how people look, because someone can look really, really like fly, but they only, like they're not really in the industry the way that could be beneficial. But at the same time, I feel like, how can I put this? Networking is necessary because you can meet different types of people to collaborate with music, different people that can help you, like graphic designers. Like if you like, I know, for example, like I can't sing, but I have a friend of mine who has done music theory and vocal training since she was 5. So it's like, if I need, an intro or something like that, I can easily call her and be like, girl, like I need you to, you help me out, and she'd be like, I got you, no problem. Just like if she needs some, strategy help, see, like I need some help, like I can't do this, I got you. But also I feel like something that I learned while being in Los Angeles, since LA networking is like super big, that the key to networking is being authentic. People can tell if networking is not authentic. And people can tell when it's scripted. I can tell if you send me a script. Yeah, like I can, you know what I mean? It's like I can tell. And it's like, the thing is, it's not about the quantity of how many people you know. It's about the quality of the relationship with that person. So I feel like with networking, it's necessary, but it's much deeper than, oh, I know these many people and, I know this person because I met them at this event one time. Like, that's not networking. You know what I mean? It's like, it's about the quality of that relationship.
It's making sure that you kind of continue that rapport. Like in the beginning, you kind of introduce yourself. They might tell you who they are. They might tell you who they know, but you also have to understand that people who are humble and that doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? They're not going to reveal those things at first. So it's just important to just keep that rapport going. So like, maybe get their social, get an email address or something like that, and just follow up and say, hey, like I met you at da-da-da-da. Like it was a pleasure talking to you. You know what I mean? If there's anything that I can help you with, you know what I mean? Don't go asking for what they can do for you. You know what I mean? Just say, no, go ahead.
It's like, you literally just took the words out of my mouth, because I really, just living in Los Angeles, based for how networking is in New York and how it is in Los Angeles, especially with Los Angeles being like this influencer-based type of scene, that it's like people really get consumed with that. Oh, like I met you at this event. Oh, we're best friends. Like we cool. Like, okay, you met this person. You're able to chat with this person. Okay, but if you can't call that person, if you need an event or anything like that, it should be like, one thing I will say is like every time, because I genuinely love helping people. Like I feel like that's just, if I have the resources, if I have the range to do it, I'm gonna do it, period. So
Right.
I love how you said, ask somebody like, what can you do for them? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, like if you're a dope graphic designer and you're trying to get, more exposure, be like, hey, like if you're trying to start a business, or hey, if you're trying to get some merch, like let me help you out. Like let's collab, like let's do that. Or
Collab. Keyword.
or hey, if you need an animation for, a music video, since you can't shoot the music video and we're in quarantine, let me animate you something.
Yeah.
Let's collab, let's brainstorm, instead of just saying, hey, like you want, when I post, my flyer, can you post it on your page? Like that's helpful too. But it's like,
You're looking at it like, why?
exactly. It's
Why?
like you said, it's the story behind it. It's like, what is that connection based off of? If your connection and networking with people and it's only based off of a one-time meeting,
Yeah.
that's not a genuine connection. Like that's just a brief introduction.
Word.
So
Word.
it's like, it's like, is it an introduction or is it networking? You know what I mean? And networking
Yeah.
also, I would like to mention, like it shouldn't be this, because I've seen people and artists have asked me where like they have people that they try to network with, and they're like, well, they looked at me as like I was like some chess move, and they were trying to manipulate me and doing all this stuff. And it, like I said, like this industry, especially on like the scale that is, because so many people now like really, like it was already like this beforehand, but like now, since it has become extremely saturated with so many people around the world wanting to get involved, that there's some people that are willing to do anything and everything to try to, mix and mingle with anybody that they can. So, that's just really my words of advice, is just make sure that any type of networking that you're doing is that it's authentic. It's making sure that, both of you guys are bringing value to one another, instead of you
Not a one-way street.
or them trying to take from you. Like be mindful of, if you're feeling off, like if someone's DMing you or someone's reaching out to you, or you feel like, no, it's okay to be like, yeah, no, like I'll pass, maybe next time, but not today. Like,
Yeah, for real. For real, yeah. I think a lot of people tend to go to these networking events, and wherever they go, where other people might be who are involved in the similar industry, they kind of just have that same approach that we were talking about before, like just trying to sell you something, and not
right,
really like building some type of rapport with you to
right,
make you feel connected to whatever that object is or product is or story it is that they're trying to sell. And they kind of just look at it like a one-way street, like, can you help me? Well, I'd love to help you, but can you help me? You know what I mean?
right,
Right.
right,
Is there
exactly.
any type of way that you can help me? Because this is not about to be a one-way street, especially if you're someone who works hard to get to where you're at. I think that's one of those things that people fail to think about. Like, if somebody really worked hard to where they're at and put in a lot of work and time to get to the position that they're in or have the title that they have, like, you got to come correct. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You definitely got to come correct, because you could really rub somebody the wrong way if you just come to them and their mind is, nobody. And, here you are like talking like, like you want to tap into their network or into their resources.
right,
No, like I need something out of it too.
yeah,
It's like I'm trying to keep my thing going.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
It's about it's a barter. Like,
barter system.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
At the end of the day, that's all it really is. It's how can we help each other?
exactly.
How can we help each other? Because
And,
that's how we're gonna keep this thing going.
right. And I think it's important to mention that, like, it doesn't, I've seen like artists like beefing with one another because maybe like their networking collaboration didn't work out, or there's a miscommunication or anything. Like just keep in mind that there's so much opportunity for artists now. Like it doesn't have to be the crab in the barrel type of like mentality. So
Yeah.
like if it doesn't have to be, oh, well, they're doing the same thing as me. And it's the same thing like I explain to people like with female rap. Like people feel like at first, like they, Nicki, Barb's don't kill me, like Nicki, was on top, was the only female rapper doing mainstream stuff for a while.
For a
And,
while.
as soon as another mainstream female rapper from New York came out, then it was kind of like, oh, they got beef, oh, they got this, oh, they got that, whatever. But when they did that,
Instantly try to turn it into something.
right. But it's like when they collabed, that collab got double the sales. Like, okay, like, and even though like maybe stuff was going behind the scenes where they weren't necessarily cool, that collab still got double the sales. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like either me or her. It can be together. It doesn't have to be either or. Like, it doesn't have to be that competitive mind. Like, it's a competitive industry, but it doesn't have to be like this.
Cutthroat.
Yeah, it doesn't
It
have
doesn't
to be
need to be
that.
cutthroat. It can be very sporty. It can be very healthy. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? You can
absolutely.
have friendly competition. You know what I mean? But you don't have to take it to the point where it's like we're at each other's necks. And like,
Exactly.
like the public will kind of do that to you. They'll turn it.
Right.
They'll turn you against one another, and that's people.
Okay, I get it.
But yeah, I think we nailed some really interesting topics here. Um, I want to keep it going, but I think like we could do this all night long.
Yes.
For real, for real.
I actually do have one question for you before we go.
What's up?
What is your thoughts on TikTok?
On TikTok,
Yeah.
I think right now, like TikTok is the place to be. And like I don't mean to sound like cliche, like what most people would probably say, but like
Yeah.
it really is because the thing about like technology, especially like involving music, is like
Mm.
first come first serve. You know what I mean? Before other politics and stuff get involved. So like right now, it's unrestricted, it's unfiltered. Their algorithm is very lax. You know what I mean? Like organic reach is like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a straight rocket ship to the moon with organic reach. And if you're a musician, you should definitely make sure that you sign up for TikTok at the very least, and then figure out how you can incorporate that into your marketing mix. Because with the way that the platform is set up right now, you probably got a limited amount of time right now to get in, solidify yourself, solidify your account, and be that influencer or that top tier artist that you can be. Because Instagram used to be the same way. Like when Instagram was brand new and that many people weren't signed up for Instagram, like that was the place to be to kind of
Yeah.
be ahead of the curve, And look at how many lives Instagram changed.
Right.
Instagram changed so many lives that they said, hold up, wait. We're changing so many lives. We need to start getting paid off of this. We got to start monetizing and adding ads in here because you guys are having a field day developing your careers and your new lifestyle changes off of our platform. You know what I mean? And it's only a matter of time before TikTok starts to do the same thing. And who knows? I don't know that much about the developers at TikTok, and their team, but they might be thinking about like, the trend that followed with like Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. They might be studying those trends,
Right.
how things went with them, and how they got to the point that they're at right now. They may be learning from it. You know what I mean? And who knows what's going to come out of that. So like right now, while the going is sweet and everything is great, I feel like artists definitely need to jump aboard and incorporate that. Like I was just on TikTok. I hardly use it, which like I want to use more of it, but like I don't know how that fits for like what I do. But but like I look at it and like I ran into Jason Derulo's account, and Jason Derulo was he wasn't like super big, like he didn't go like super stardom. You know what I mean? But he still solidified a name for himself. And I was just looking at his TikTok yesterday, and he just incorporates a lot of comedy on there. Like, so like artists are finding ways to mold this into helping them either sustain a fan base or grow a fan base or just generate one. You know what I mean? All three of those things are highly important for someone just starting, especially on a platform that is welcoming it.
Right.
That's my take on TikTok in a nutshell. I honestly do not know that much. I tried to make a TikTok, like a few months back, and it was like the worst thing ever.
I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but like it was just like, am I getting old? Like, is this what it feels like to get old?
No, honestly, I feel the same way when I'm on TikTok. Like, honestly.
Like, yeah, it's like, or maybe I just don't want to commit to learning something new. Like, maybe like I grew up with, or both of us, like we grew up in the early infant stages of Instagram, and like that's just where we're comfortable.
And it's more of like, it has like that Vine feel, but then it's like longer, then with dance and then music. And then because even with the challenges with certain songs, like there's songs that are new songs that are coming out and there's challenges, but then there's also super old tracks that I haven't heard in a while that have challenges too. So it's like, interesting because yeah, like you said, it's about, either, expanding upon your audience, creating a new audience, because I'm hearing old tracks that I haven't heard since I was like a freshman in high school, like on some old Bryson Tiller. And I'm like,
But it's a new dynamic.
right,
A new dynamic,
exactly.
you know what I mean? So the dynamic makes everything feel fresh and new, which is
Right.
very
And that
exciting.
could be a new song for somebody that's not familiar. So that's so
That's all
true.
it takes. That's all it takes. Like I see like a lot of people posting their TikTok stuff on Instagram, and then like I've never heard the song before, but then like when I see them do whatever the challenge is or whatever it is that they do to it, I'm just
Mhm.
like, wow, like what was that song? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what was that song? Who is that artist? And TikTok has like that huge factor to it right now. Like it
Mhm.
has a huge capability of just introducing you to new people that you
Right.
may not have necessarily, been checking for. And, that alone is pretty tremendous. So I'm excited to see where the platform really goes at this point because I actually signed up to advertise on TikTok. Like there was
Nice.
some like program where you could sign up to start advertising, like getting it approved and everything, and I
Yeah.
got cleared for it, but like I don't know what I would do. But it's
Yeah.
nice to know that if that is
Even
something that I would.
artist tips. There's so many artists on TikTok.
That's true. That's
It
true.
could be like
I need to
15
figure it
seconds.
out. I need
Yeah.
I need to figure it out. First things first. I need to create an account. Because they don't make you create an account first.
No,
You want to make a video.
exactly.
That's how they get you.
Yep.
Get you.
Yep.
They let you play around with the platform first, and then before you post it, they're like, oh, by
But
the way.
that's like similar to like what we were saying about the personality. It's like they're giving you a glimpse of that TikTok brand personality, so you can be like, oh well,
Yeah,
I wanna contribute.
yeah, yeah.
I want you to take
You
some of
create
my
something
great
hot by
TikTok.
accident. You're
Yeah.
like, wait. Or you find that first voiceover, and you know where it's from. Like if it's like Baby Boy or something like that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like that voiceover. You know that part in the movie because you heard it before, and you do that cool voiceover, and you're like, damn, this is fire. I want to post this, and then
Yeah.
boom, you gotta sign up,
Yeah.
and then it becomes addicting because literally the content on there is absolutely addicting. And not to get too like digital marketing ish on here, but I think it's
No,
like
I love that's my thing. So I'm
one
here
one of
for
the
it.
things on it is because like it's portrait mode. You know what I mean? Like you're getting the full screen, like you're getting that immersive experience on your your Android or your iPhone or your iPad or whatever the case may be. Like you're really getting to immerse in this content, and it's like you almost feel like you're part of it. Like
Right.
it like makes me feel weird to say that, but like
No, like I said, we're like entering like we were already like in this digital age, but like we're
yeah,
really entering like the second phase. Like we're not even at the climax. Like we're not even at like the top tier digital phase yet. So it's like I totally get it because even again, like I was just doing some research earlier today and I was researching just like how they're planning to implement AI, VR, multi-reality, all these new headsets into music because even like with Travis Scott and this whole Fortnite concert, and I know we're gonna be limited
oh,
on
that
time,
was crazy. We're
but
gonna
you know what
talk
I'm saying?
about that off the record because that's
Yeah,
a long one right there.
but you know what I'm saying is like now, especially with this pandemic and this recent, like we were already like on the rise with the technology anyways, but
Yeah,
like now with like the limited, in-person concerts, people are getting innovative and they're like, all right, we got to immerse these people in real life in some shape, way, or form. And so it's like,
yeah.
it's only a matter of time genuinely before there's some type of app, and mark my words, y'all are a witness. There's gonna be a matter of time before there's some type of app, software, whatever, where you have to put on a headset, which Google sells those cardboard headsets for like $5.
Right.
Where you're now immersed into that digital space and that music space.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe, if not by the
Somebody's
end
working
of
on
this
it.
year, somebody, if not by the end of this year, definitely by mid
Somebody's
2021.
working on it because you'd be surprised at like how innovative people are getting with stuff. Like I don't think Steve Jobs was like, or maybe he was thinking about how he was going to revolutionize the music industry when he created the iPod and
Right.
opened the iTunes store to sell music, which of course he had to get that cleared through record labels. And by doing that, like he revolutionized the entire music industry. And something like what you just mentioned would be like completely revolutionary. Like completely revolutionary. So like somebody's working on it. Yeah, we might not know who right now,
But I
But
believe it.
in due time, somebody's gonna announce it, partner with them, and it's gonna be a big deal because I was before TikTok even came out. Like I used to ask my music friends, like right now we got like Twitter and Snapchat and Facebook, but like Instagram, but like what's next? What's
Right.
next? What's
Right.
next? You know what I mean? I remember like a couple months ago, like literally Googling like what's the next big social media platform. You know what I mean? Because regardless of what the methodology was for the social media platform,
Yeah.
music has a space everywhere.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it has a space everywhere. Like you can promote everywhere. You just need to know how to utilize those features and those like whatever the app has associated with it for the better of your cause. And you know, the next big social media platform that came out, I knew was going to be a hit. And lo and behold, it was TikTok, and that was not on any of the blogs that I read about. It wasn't. I didn't see it on any of the lists. So it
But
kind of just
they're not even expect. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's gonna be things that just pop up, especially now, like with this pandemic,
yeah.
like with this economic boom.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like quick tip for everyone listening to this. Like I know that Facebook is talking about announcing like a live feature where you can like tip people who are performers. Because you know, like with the whole pandemic and everything, people are doing like live concerts.
yeah.
You know, like Instagram and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
like how better would it be if these artists could actually monetize off of stuff like that?
Right.
You
Similar
know,
to YouTube Live, how you can like tip people and stuff like that.
yeah, like an OnlyFans for artists.
But honestly, I'm really here for that. Because they
Yeah,
need to get paid. Like artists need to get
yeah.
paid. Like artists need their flowers. Like people don't realize like there would like if music wasn't in movies, if it wasn't in commercials, if it wasn't in ads, if it wasn't in like the world would be so dull. So like I'm here for it all. Like
Yeah.
as long as Mark Zuckerberg doesn't, try to be on some creepy privacy type of
You
situation with
know, I can't speak on that. You know,
but I hope
that's
that they really utilize that for the benefit of the artist for real.
yeah. And you know, with him like owning or just Facebook, you know, being partnered with Instagram, like you know, they own Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's like if it starts on Facebook, then you can bet that it's going to trickle down to Instagram. And like right now with Instagram, you know, you have the option of changing your account. At first, it used to just be either like a personal account
Mm-hmm.
or a business account. But like I happened to notice that when I was changing some other account that I have to a business account, that there was like a content creator.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like they're hit. Like, you know, like they're totally hit. Like and they're catching on to what's going on right now. And, you know, for them to not tap into, you know, all the artists that are signed up on their platforms would just be like, I don't know, financially irresponsible of them to not try and, you know, collect those coins where they can because you got all these artists on here that are like dying to make a name for themselves however they can. You know, so
Yeah.
that would be smart of them. But I think you know, we've definitely touched on some like serious topics here. Like I know we had like a whole list of stuff that we wanted to talk about, but like I think what we did decide on was like some heavy hitters and it's
No, for
definitely
sure.
things to get people thinking and get the gears turning. So like I want to thank you for
You.
taking the time out of your day and not making time out of your schedule to have this talk with me because this is really important. You know, like we obviously talked about this beforehand, but you know, like I want the people watching this to understand how important this is to know this information and how beneficial it's going to be to take these things serious
Right.
and literally apply them after they stop watching this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because there's nothing but opportunity around for artists right now, and it's totally up to them to be able to decide, you know, how they want things to go for themselves. And you know, there's no excuse. there's,
Okay.
there's there's literally no excuse. So again, thank you so much for your time. And before we wrap this up, please
Thank you
let
for
people
having me.
know where they can follow you, like
Yes.
what you have right now. Like put all your shameless plugs right here on the table. Like let them know where you
Oh
at.
my goodness. Well, thank you again for having me. Like this was so dope again. Like I've been a
For
super fan of your content like
thank you,
for a while now. So like this
thank
was
you.
honestly like super dope just talking with you about like the industry. Like it's like just amazing. I can't even put into words. But you guys can find me at on Instagram at GenzExec. That is GenzExec. On Twitter, you also can find me at TheGenzExec, TheGenzExec. And yeah, you guys can always hit me up, ask me questions. I also offer, free ebooks about myths about the music business, a free branding guide. I'm totally here to help you guys out. I also have some other things, for you guys, but y'all gonna see that soon. So yeah.
You gotta join the ecosystem for that one. So make sure you definitely check out her profile because shit, I thought that I dropped gems. No man.
Stop.
She definitely dropped some serious gems. Like I had to think about my content. Like, wait, is my content really fire? Like,
Literally, I literally just reposted some of your stuff today. Like,
yeah,
literally, I just want to say, like, what you do for artists is just really inspirational. Like, one of your, like, literally your page and Kato, the producer, were like the
yeah,
main
it's
thing
dope.
that was following that really inspired me to start posting like my content. So, like,
Yeah,
literally, like, I'm here for it. So again,
yeah,
like thank you for taking the time to even just chat with me and like talk about this stuff because
yeah.
it's really cool to talk to other people that are like as passionate as me, about
Facts,
this information.
facts,
So it was an honor, honestly.
facts. Well, I really appreciate your kind words. It means a lot to me. I'm trying not to shed a tear over here. You know what I mean? Because when you do what you do, you don't really pay attention to like what you're affecting. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
like the results and stuff they pour in, but even when the results pour in, you're like, like I really appreciate that. That means a lot and it keeps me going. But like you're just so focused on your mission that it's just
Yeah.
like you don't see how you're really affecting other things until like people come to you and like how they do with you and they send you like their little bites on how much
Yes.
they really appreciate what you do for them and so on and so forth. Like it's when you have those moments where you have to just pause and take a second and just be like, wow, like it really helped this person.
No, seriously, it kind of took me aback because I wasn't expecting the response on like my free guides because like this was literally stuff that I would literally just tell people all the time about like myths and stuff like that or like little 6 simple ways to brand yourself and like for everyone to be like so receptive to it and like just super supportive and just like it was just kind of like it was unexpected but honestly like you said like it kind of just like puts more fire in my drive. It's just like, okay, yeah, like I
Right.
gotta keep going now. Like I gotta keep going. So
Right.
again, like it was dope. And I just happy that everyone is just super receptive to it. And I'm excited to, find more tips and use my resources to help you guys out, honestly.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm sure everyone will appreciate that. So this is the end of our road here. We're definitely gonna chat more because I really like how this went.
Same.
There's, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm about to pause the recording.